Hello, everyone. I'm Mike Simmons, the founder of Astronomy for Equity. Welcome to the Big Impact Astronomy Podcast. Today we have Atiyah Alhasadi from Libya. He is an astrophysicist. He's a co-founder of Roaya for Astronomy and Space Applications, an NGO in Libya. He holds a bachelor's degree in physics, and he has led astronomy education across Libya through lectures, workshops, public stargazing events. He's a TEDx speaker and a STEM blogger. And Atiyah is dedicated to making space science accessible and inspiring curiosity about the universe. So, Atiyah, welcome to the podcast. And
Thank you so much.
We have a little lag.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I really appreciate it. It's my pleasure to be in here.
Well, you're doing great work in Libya, and I'm glad to be able to highlight it and show people what's happening. And especially since, Libya has undergone a lot of trouble in recent years, and it's still not really the most stable. Tell us what citizens of Libya have been dealing with, and especially about the students that growing up under these circumstances.
Yeah, so the main problem, as I said, after the revolution, there's many guns and armed activities with many armed groups, because Libya it's a huge country, middle in Africa. In big Sahara, and I would say 1,700,000 kilometers square. So it's a huge country with that situations. It's really hard to student to get more hope about their futures. This is one of the problem, especially what happened in the city. They use schools as hospitality, hosting the displaced people. That's happened in many cities in Libya with few numbers of the schools, huge numbers, like 40, sometimes 50 in just one class. In 3 or 4 months, they press I would say the academic year just for 3 or 4 hours. So they give them lack of quality of educations in Libya, and there's many. Even this year, I would say 3 or 4 months. For school, it's not even stable. There's cutting off because some clashes happen in the cities also.
Yeah,
very. In addition, of course, from 2020 to 2022, that COVID also has his touch in the school and the student also.
Yeah, that's a lot to deal with. You've had ISIS in Libya as well. Quite a few things happening.
Yeah.
So
so this is maybe the situation over the 15 years happening in Libya.
Yeah. Tell me why astronomy and space science. How is this helpful in times like this to the students especially?
Yeah, I would say we found this accidentally, because we were working in Libya. We just we were very young, and we tried to do anything about our passion, let's say in astronomy. So some students and youth trying to do some astronomy activities, and found out how the activities affect many people. I mean in a good way. So would say like we said, we try to build on these activities because I remember in 2014 when ISIS controlled many cities in Libya, and we did some astronomy activities, and many students join us because at that time there is no many activities in the cities, but when we just like few minutes doing some astronomy activities, many students, many youth join us, and we found out we protect this youth from joining the ISIS group. So this is peace building, and we were working in many cities in Libya, even at the civil war in Libya between many east and west armed groups, and we were working in different cities. Even the cities have civil war between them. We just doing astronomy activities, but this is also like peace building. So we found out by chance, I would say that. And in recent years, we try to build projects and programs on this in this concept. We are not just STEM activities, but also there's many concepts behind it, like peace building and work team, and we try to create leaders in STEM activities, because we cannot do activities without some soft skills, some leadership skills. So we try to enhance this environment, not just for astronomy activities, but also to peace building and empower women and girls in the STEM fields. And of course.
Yeah. So I will note, and we're having some internet difficulties. This is not that unusual in a lot of places. I'll note that you are not in Benghazi now, that you are in Derna, much smaller town. And, yeah, and your hometown. And I have to mention how profoundly sad I am about what happened in Derna. I think that viewers may remember that there were floods and a dam broke, and Derna was a city that was flooded, with a large part of the city and population washed away, including your family members. You were there, in fact, for your sister's wedding, and this turned into from a joyous occasion to a disaster. So I'm very sorry about what happened then, and I know this is something yourself, your family, your city will not recover from completely. So sorry to hear that. And this could explain, of course, the lack of infrastructure that we have there, and the internet not being that great since so much damage was done. But it's one more example of some of the things that can happen in places that don't have the same infrastructure that we're used to in the developed world, and difficult to recover from. So astronomy can give hope and, as you say, build leadership, the soft skills and so on. So let's talk about then some of the things that Roaya has done. And this is World Space Week in 2022. And you know, you wouldn't know from looking at this in the smiling face of the girl there that there were difficulties like this. This is what we see when we have astronomy programs like this in places that have difficulties. And there's an awful lot of stuff here. And this is not something we see that often in the United States, family activities and things like that. Here, can you tell us something about what you do here?
Yeah, even the girl like hold our planet upside down, but that the space the space itself hasn't that direction. But this is kind of school activities. It's common thing in Libya when the school doing some activities in the school, and the student came out to the street taking like a tour in public, holding their like Minecraft things to show the people in the public what they have done in the school. Yeah, it was one of the activities that we have done in Tripoli with the student. It's kind of showing off of the student. It's a common thing in Libya. I don't know in other countries in the world, but this is kind of when the student have done any activities with handicraft, they taken a tour in public close to the schools to show people what they have done.
And the people come out to see.
Yeah, come out to see and ask the students. This is kind of public activities, but we at that time we have agreement with the school to do like astronomy handicrafts. You can see the stars and planets and like solar system behind, and some student holding the pictures in it. You can see the families joining them. So it's kind of public activity we did with the school.
And this, not in public, this is a common thing. Water rockets done in many places around the world, but this is at a special camp.
Yes. As I mentioned, yeah, we have done the space camp, the first Libyan space camp in Libya, and we did that in the city of Cyrenaica. I would mention why it's a temple, by the way. It's Zeus temple, and we did that in the middle of Zeus temple. But this is kind of activities we did about this the rocket science. The first is it's rocket science when we're talking about something hard. So we try to symbolize that. It's like, yeah, it's rocket science, and it's easy. I know it's not that easy to send people outside the space, but it kind of said as the astronomy as a science, as an academic field, is not that hard. And for this activities, Cyrenaica is the city where the Artistinus was born, and Artistinus is a Greek science born in Cyrenaica in Libya, who the first man who measured the circumference of the Earth.
Yeah,
it was born here in this city in Libya. We tried to connect between the present and the future to the past in Libya. And yeah, we said that the idea it was like that great science born in this city, and we may start in your like scientific journey from this site. So this is what the message that we try to deliver at that time.
Wonderful. Yeah. And here you've got a good facility that you're able to take around a mobile planetarium.
Yeah.
And you use this to educate people and give them a chance to see what the sky is like. This is for people in the big cities who don't see the night sky very well.
Yeah, of course. And the one thing, Libya, in Benghazi and in Tripoli, they 17s, even the end of 19s, they were like big planetarium in Benghazi and in Tripoli, and where the students used to go. the new generation has no idea about what the planetarium is. And one thing that very very remember that time when we settled set the planetarium and switching on, many of adults join us because they remember when they were students and they went to the school trip to planetarium in Benghazi in Tripoli. So it's supposed to be full of like students, but that time it was full of families, which is to me just was a good thing how the astronomy link even the families for parents when they, of course, because what I believe is as a child you have something from the sky, because sky is something incredible, and you have passion about any stars and moon. And but after growing up, many people change their passion about many things. So when the people see the sky, they remember the child that has passion about what's going on up there. So it was great opportunity for even to parents in that time to discuss about their kids' passion about the sky. You can engage them to be part of the space industry.
That's great.
So I remember the session. It's half of the time of the session talking about the space industry and have discussion about the parents more than describe what's going on in there. So it's a great opportunity to talk to the parents about the astronomy and astronomy education, space industry, and may their kids be in space industry.
Yeah, that's terrific. And you mentioned that there used to be planetariums in the big cities. What happened to those?
One of them, and I think in Tripoli, taken from the other authorities. I think this is it is a library right now, and the one here in Benghazi, it was destroyed in the war in Benghazi in 2014, but it was closed before that, like 10 years before that.
Yeah, that's a shame. So many things happen during war, of course, that you have no control over. Well, to other things that you do now. Here is a photo here, and Libya is taking part in a program that we're just starting, Bright Futures, which is a global STEM program using sunlight alone to encourage STEM education, to teach STEM education with lessons and so on, to use in places where there are no other facilities. These are eclipse glasses. The program is not about eclipses. It's about the sun and sunlight, and a continuous program for STEM. These, of course, are not the students, but these classes can be used for public outreach and so on. What is happening here with this one?
Yeah, we were in one of the forests in Green Mountain in Libya. We have campaign there, and we try to take advantage of gathering many college students and many NGO members in Libya to talk about the sun and the solar system and the solar benefits. And there were like refugees from Sudan, that Sudan right now suffering with many difficulties, civil war, and so many of the refugees moved to Libya, and they were cleaners working in many fields, but they were in the picture two cleaners. It was a bunch of them, and really enjoying the session there, and they have many questions about the sun. And one of the refugees, after the session, he told me he was always hate the sun because he had to cross the Sahara, displacing Sudan to Libya. So has to hate. He used to hate the sun. But at the session, he said, like, this is the first time I see the sun in different concept. And he asked me if I have extra glasses to his kids. And then gave them, and I ask anyone if they have kids, I can give you glasses and tell them what the activities that we have done right now. So
Yeah.
yeah, see, this is one of the moments that you realize how the astronomy could change the people concepts about the life.
And that's, the basis of this program, really. I've distributed tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of eclipse glasses like this to places around the world for eclipses and so on. But you look through the glasses and it's amazing to see the sun for the first time. And it's kind of amazing to think nobody's seen the sun. It's there all the time, but we don't look at it. So it really is a big deal for people when they do this, but then the glasses are set aside. This program we're doing is going to keep using them for all different sciences, studying sunlight and moving on to different sciences. So now I have to note that these are refugees. You're talking about refugees also within Libya, escaping the war and all the difficulties you have there. But Sudan is worse. And people are finding safe haven in Libya, coming from Sudan, having to cross the Sahara Desert to get there. So Libya, by comparison, is a good place. So this is something I emphasize because people don't realize how difficult it is in many places around the world. People that have it good here. We see these things on the news, but this is personal. It's different. So I'm glad to be able to see that. Now, one of the things that we did. Now, tell us about this. This is in a middle school. This represents several things that you've done in Roaya.
Yeah, we. This is an astronomical clubs in Libya. And this is one of the club that we had in the schools, and they called themselves the astronomy scientists. And if you know in Arabic language, we have certain grammar for girls and I would say male and female concepts. Mm-hmm. So they call themselves like female space female science, and this is what the literally translation of the English. And as our strategy in astronomical clubs, because we do many indoor activities to include as much as we can girls schools, because it's hard to girls sometimes to participate in outdoor activities. So we try to give them more activities to balance between outdoor activities and our indoor activities in gender balance participation. So this is one of the lectures. This is the library of the school, and this is one of the workshops that we have done in Tripoli. And this is the year after the war happened in in Tripoli, in middle school, and we tried to get access to school that were places in the middle of the clashes in the war.
Mhm. Yeah, so many, of course, there are many Muslim countries. Some are very strict with women, others not. But the countries I've been to also, it depends on where. In the big cities, there's more freedom for the women, and in the small towns, less so. But that's true everywhere. The cultures are different in the small towns than the bigger cities. So here, the parents may not want the girls out at night or out on the streets unsupervised. These are younger girls, so they'll be more strict, but also for safety, because it's not necessarily safe in a lot of places I know in Libya. So you concentrate on that, which is wonderful. The leaders, if they happen to be men in your culture, then for now, to be able to work towards that gender equity is really fabulous. And these girls, of course, are very interested in that. So we did something in Astronomy for Equity to help with that. This is one of those clubs. And this was actually something that we used in a crowdfunding campaign. And we raised funds for telescopes for these astronomy clubs. And people responded very, very well. The American people were very generous, and they funded this very quickly. It took a very long time to get the telescope. That's the hard part. We can do anything online, but getting the telescopes to other countries can be really difficult. These went by sea because it's too expensive to go by air, and took 3 or 4 months to get there. And I want to point out to people that this is necessary, because there aren't ways to get telescopes. Even if you have the money, you frequently don't have a way of getting a telescope. And if you were able to order it and it gets sent in from Amazon in Europe or something like that, it won't get through customs. It's that somebody may steal it. They'll charge. This happens all the time. They charge as much as the product is worth to let it go through, and it's just impossible. So here is a girl that I remember. We have a video clip of this on the campaign, and she was fabulous. She wants to be an astronaut, and I hope that she has that chance. So this is just one of many of them. Where were the different the schools that we sent the telescopes to?
So yeah, first of all, we start with Tripoli, because it was that time. It was the ending of the civil war happening in Tripoli. So we tried to use all the telescopes in the Tripoli schools, especially in the area neighborhoods that had affected by the war. Right now, we have 3 places. It's Tripoli, Benghazi, and I don't know. I think.
Yeah, we just lost you there for a few seconds, but we got you back now, I
Yeah,
think.
we started with that. That year. You can see that even the masks, because this is a 2020 year, and previous picture. Right now, the 5 telescopes distributed between Tripoli, Benghazi, and Derna, of course, after the flood.
Yeah. And so this is one of them with a lecture there. I hope they could take the telescope outside and use it there. It's not a display piece, but I know you do. And in fact, one of the telescopes in use here, or maybe 2 of them, it looks like, actually.
This is part of outdoor activities, um, especially just not monitoring them. It's not observation of the moon. We try to get some planets like Saturn or Jupiter, but it's hard to do the observation close to the big cities. So we have to travel far away from the lights. This is one of the activities we've done I think, in Green Mountains in Libya. And our idea is not doing this session, but also to describe the place, the history of the place, why we have this session, especially in the place, what the importance of the place, because we link that with the environment, with the history. So we try to. I would say our sessions try to be more rich of the concept in the history and the science, and it's not just the observation.
Mhm.
So this is our strategy, and that with this session especially, is kind of about the forest, because forests in Libya, we have the desertation right now, and we have few forests. So try to get more awareness about the forests in Libya, and how you can get that people attention about it. Trying to like astronomy session did it there.
Yeah, and that's an important thing too. Desertification is a part of climate change, and I understand that you've moved into doing quite a bit about climate change since the disaster in Derna. Things are changing in Libya as they are every place else. And climate change is actually part of what we will be teaching about with the sunglasses. When we look at the sun, the lessons will be about where our energy comes from, which is all the sun, but then that relates to how it generates the ocean currents and how that's changing, and the different things on Earth as far as energy transfer and so on, so people understand that. So that's something you are focusing on now as well. You're not abandoning astronomy; it's all part of the same thing. We are a planet in the solar system. So, but that's an important subject you're doing now, I understand.
Yes, and we connected with space applications, because the climate change, we can monitoring the climate change through satellite program, and this is kind of what we thinking to work in 2 years, because right now we have like technology to build a cube satellites that can university students can build it and coding in it, and to mentor the climate change in Libya, not a national project, but at least kind of initiatives starting with the universities, because I believe that we have many brilliant students that can handle the project. And this is how we link the climate change with the astronomy activities. We try to provide the space applications technology and climate change. I would say climate resilience national, even the adaptation nationals plan in governmental level, and also in education and academic level.
And of course, astronomy and space science, well, in the United States, these are like two different things, but they're not really. We're exploring space in different ways from the ground and going to space to look back at Earth. And in most of the world, astronomy and space science are just part of the same thing. But introducing science and technology, engineering, and math, and as well as the sciences, the question is, how do you do that? How do you excite students in astronomy? Of course, it's what we use around the world for that. I have worked with some of your students in Benghazi, and this was a remote observing program. And yes, they were brilliant. And there's one who's the leader in particular who stood out. And they're part of the astronomy club there, but I don't think a single one of them was studying astronomy. They were all mostly in IT.
Yeah.
Some, I'm sure, will go into engineering fields and so on. They won't become astronomers, but it is something that inspires them. And this gave them the opportunity to do a research project, something they will need to learn. Now, where they go after their bachelor's degree at the University of Benghazi, if they stay to study in Libya, a lot of places they can't study what they want to and have to leave the country. So it's very difficult, and that's, at least they're in the pipeline. They're there and hoping to get a chance to study here in the US or in Europe or something, many of them as well. So I have also had the opportunity, I'm going to show this just because I like it, but whoops, wrong one again. Here we go. I was asked to meet with the students there, and I don't remember where this is, but it was arranged by you, Atiyah, and one of the schools there that wanted to hear from me. Now, they don't get a lot of opportunities to meet people from outside, of course, at these places. So I did a presentation, I think, and talked to them, and it looks like this is a girls' school as well. But what was even better, and I don't have a picture of her on screen with me here, but was when you asked if I could bring an astronaut. And you told me that the last astronaut that the Libyans met in the country was Yuri Gagarin. And that's like 50, 60 years ago. And you wanted in particular a female, if possible. So I asked Nicole Stott, 5-time NASA astronaut, also an artist. She's standing in front of a painting that she did of an object she took a picture of from space, but the paintings are really more evocative and really great. She is an engineer by training, an astronaut, and an artist, and very inspiring, wonderful person. So that was an opportunity, especially for the girls there. And you know, what was that like for them? What were the responses and the reactions? What kind of an impact might that have had?
Yeah. So after this, the whole idea, and thank you so much for this opportunity, because you lead this opportunity to happen in Tripoli with the schools. The idea is to give them a real example about the human. He was inspiring in space and astronomy, and after that, she have been a great astronaut. And because as you mentioned that there is like a frag between the science, like astronomy as a science, and astronomy as an industry. In Libya, we were discussing with the student. We felt that being astronaut or being astronomer is kind of dream or something is far away from Libyan side. And in that session, we try to deliver the message. It's not far away. It's really close. And this is real example. And it's kind of just guidelines to follow, and you can achieve your dream to be astronomer or be an astronaut. So this is the message that we try to deliver that session to close up between the Libyan student and the space industry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's important, and you can set your sights high, and most of the time you may not end up where you plan to be, not because you failed in some way, but because you find another path, something else that interests you.
Mm.
A lot of people who are in astronomy came in through other ways. Astronomers go into other things, so we learn as we go and we find our own path. It's just important to stay on the path, to have your sights set on something, whether it's to be an astronaut or anything else. So, and then keep moving on that path wherever
Yeah,
it ends up.
yeah. The student, most of the girls are students, and we try to get a women astronaut to show them as I said, like real example of astronaut. Most of the student that time before the session, they were interested in the space and astronomy. After the session, I remember like many students, girls at that time, they said to the supervisors, this session, I want to be like her. So this is whole transaction from interesting to be like her, astronaut and flying in space. So yeah, it was really successful session that.
Yeah, it's important to have role models, something to aim for. Even in the case of Nicole, she trained as an engineer, and she was an engineer at NASA. And after working there for a while, she didn't plan on being an astronaut. But after working there for a while, working with the astronauts, she said, yeah, I can do that. So she applied, and she eventually got in and flew to space. So she wasn't planning on being an astronaut. She was something else.
Yeah, I remember the airplane story. She mentioned that when she was kids, she saw the airplane, and she asked herself how this materials are flying, and she was interested in aerospace engineering. And
Yep. You never know. So, and she's gone on to do many other things. So, after being an astronaut too. So, and especially being an inspiration for girls and women. So now I was very much looking forward to coming to Libya a couple of years ago, when you were planning a big astronomy festival, the first one. And there were sponsors, and I was inviting people. I had some really great people lined up that would be inspirational for the people that had a chance to go. That was before the disaster in Derna, which changed everything.
Yeah. But about the festival, like a few weeks ago, I was talking one of the minister in Libya. He was here in Derna. I talked to him about the project and about the festival. He was optimistic about the Libyan government right now. Really interested in a project happening and any festivals or any events happening in Derna to show the world what they have done in rehabilitation. in Darna. I think it's going to be a great opportunity to them, especially in scientific festival. I sent them the proposal, and I'm waiting for their response. They said we're gonna do it, but we try about the budget if they fit with our governmental budget or not. But I'm very optimistic. I'm just waiting for the green light from this side to get connection with you again about the festival, because right now I took this festival very very personal, because it's gonna happen here in my city, and let's see what's the next step. But I'm very optimistic this time to do the festival here in Derna. Maybe, I don't know, maybe in few months later.
I would really look forward to that. Going to a place that has had such a terrible disaster with so many people lost is really difficult, but it's even more important.
Yeah.
And in November, I went with a few other people to Ukraine, for example, where we had provided telescopes for astronomy students. And this was very important to them to have the chance to look to the sky, and but also to meet people from outside who encourage them, because suddenly when you're on a path and it's completely disrupted by war or natural disaster or something, the future suddenly disappears and you don't know where it's going to go. And this was a really important thing for those students, and I think it will be for the people in Derna. So I would very much welcome the opportunity to visit there, and I'm ready to bring along people who would really be inspiration for the people there and the students there especially.
Yeah, and this is very important in my city and to my people here, and those kind of recovery to this people to see this, because like
Okay, we're not hearing you clearly, Atiyah. So you were saying, and this is just the way it goes many times on this podcast, you were saying that it was why it was important for the people in Derna, and I think maybe let's try again. Tell us why it's important for the people of Derna.
Catastrophic event, flood, happened as a people gone or destroyed.
Yeah. We're still not getting enough to be able to follow what you're saying, Atiyah. We may have to record this part again, but let's see if it clears up. So where you're really lagging there.
Feelings that time we were like very disappointed, and we said like the city destroyed. Darna is gonna be part of history. There's no future. I remember that feelings.
We're not catching what you're saying here, Atiyah. So let's wait a moment and see if the connection comes back, and then we can continue. Yeah, you're just frozen now.
Yeah, your picture is clear. Yeah. Yeah, from my side, your voice and your picture is clear. I don't know.
Okay. This
Same
is
thing.
better.
Maybe.
So
Mm.
let me. You were about to tell us, trying to tell us why this festival could be important for the people of Derna.
Yeah. Yeah, I still remember our feelings in that time when the flood happened. We were like very disappointed about our cities destroyed. No one knows about the future. We said like Darna, the city is gone. It's gonna be no future. I don't know. The area maybe um, turns to the destroyed city. And right now we were like very happy if anything happening in Darna. Right now in July there is like football uh, championship happening, mini football African championship happening in Derna, and many African teams with their fans gonna be here in Derna. So just in 2 years, it's kind of like raising it, the city raised again, and this is the message that we want to deliver from the destroyed city to city of festivals, scientific and sport culture events.
Yeah, so that's wonderful. Derna rising again from the floodwaters. You know, keep in touch. Let me know how it goes. If the whole festival doesn't happen, if I can come with some people and that would make a difference, I will absolutely do that. I
Yeah, for
really
sure.
love the. Well, let's end on a little
For
better
sure.
note. Yeah, great. So you are sitting in front of a great poster there. Tell us what this is. What that represents.
So yeah, this is one of the poster of the coding um, workshops. It's a kind of robotic building and programming. So we teach student in many cities in Libya. This time we're in Tajura cities, the city close to the Tripoli. It was 20 students from Tajura city learning about the coding and programming of the like small uh, because there's many right now the world holding many robotic competitions between students, and our student and our team like robotic team participate in Libya, in Greece, and they have competition in US. I think the end of this year.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I love it. An astronaut taking part in a hackathon in space with the planets behind him.
Mhm.
Nothing better than that. So, Atiyah, I want to thank
Yeah.
you for taking the time to join us here. We've had some technical difficulties, but we can't always have a great connection from a lot of places around the earth, and it's just part of it. And it's a demonstration of why we're using astronomy to try and improve places, to get students inspired to go into science, technology, and engineering and maths to improve the future of the country. And Libya is doing a great job in that. And you and the others at Roya are doing fabulous work. And I'm very proud to have been able to support that. And I look forward to supporting it more in the future.
Yeah, thank you so much for this interview. I really enjoyed it, and talking about the activities, Roya activities in Libya. And no matter what the situation bad is, but there is always hope, and the sky gave us this inspiration. So astronomy it's really important factor in different places, even in hard situations over the world. And I would say thank you so much for your offers, because you always support Roaya and astronomy initiatives around the world, and hopefully anyone get this get interview and get inspiring maybe in our experience, and hopefully they're enjoy this interview.
Inshallah.